Hello there and welcome to the Grimoire Magic video blog 3. This is the first part and today we're going to talk about the Key of Solomon. So this video number 3 will be a lot of different parts since we're going to cover a lot of different grimoires. Anyway, let's start talking a bit about the Key of Solomon. A normal grimoire has about perhaps 1 to 10 different known versions out there. When David Rankin and Stephen Skinner did their research for their at the time upcoming book, The Veritable Key of Solomon, they managed to find over 100 different versions of the Key of Solomon. This has led some of us, including David Rankin, to believe that this was probably the first grimoire that people back then came in contact with. And considering just how spread out it was amongst grimoire magicians back then, it was probably considered to be a prime, something that everyone had knowledge of, that everyone had read, and that everyone would understand. This has led us to believe that some of the later grimoires that were written, like the Gotia for example, it's interesting to note that in the Gotia there is no ritual for the consecration of the sword in the Gotia, and that is something that you most definitely need to do. So in our opinion, or in our theory, we think that was left out because everyone had access to the Key of Solomon in some form or another, so they would use the ritual from the Key of Solomon to be able to consecrate the sword in the Gotia. I would also like to mention a website where you can find many different versions that are both translated and in the original language for many different grimoires that are out there. It's managed by Joseph Peterson, so it's very good material. We will start talking about the best available version out there for traditional grimoire magic use anyway. It's The Veritable Key of Solomon by Stephen Skinner and David Rankin, and the translator of the works is Paul Harry Barron. This book comes in 3 different editions. First there is one cheaper version that Levelin lets out. It's also in black and white, but I don't think you really need the coloring schemes that are in the book, so the black and white version will function just great for you. The other, a bit more expensive edition, and is the half leather edition. It exists of 350 limited copies. What's interesting about this one is that there are 2 versions of it. You have one version with a straight back that I would show in a picture here. Then there is also a version with a ribbed back, and it also has a slight different color on front. It's more red than the other one is. In my opinion, the ribbed one seems to be a bit higher quality. These are also full color books. Then there is also a full leather edition, but that one was only released in 25 copies. Just be glad if you were one of the 25 that could afford it. Anyway, this version is full of very helpful commentaries done by Stephen Skinner and David Rankin. It exists of as much as 3 different versions of the Key of Solomon, of which one of them is the most complete version we know of today. For example, if you compare this version to Matter's old version, it's about the double amount of pentacles that we can use in it. So it's a very, very good edition. Also, I would like to say that if you look at the reviews on Amazon, don't believe the 2 3-star reviews. At least one of these people are known for being a complete idiot when it comes to grimoires. The other one is just slightly smarter, so don't bother about what they say. Another very good version of the Key of Solomon is Joseph Peterson's The Clavis. It's a work by Sibley and Hockley, 2 very famous old-time magicians that were, among other things, well, the Golden Dawn was heavily influenced by these 2 magicians. So it's kind of their personal version, and with their added notes and stuff about the Key of Solomon. It's also very good because, as usual, Joseph Peterson has made many comments and notes about different things in it, and you can learn a lot from these different notes. It's recommended for people that would like to see how some magicians actually used this grimoire. But if you're strictly into the traditional kind of grimoire magic, you will probably be better off with the Veritable Key of Solomon by Skinner and Rankin. But if you can afford them both, buy them. That's all I have to say about that. Well, then we should probably also mention the Key of Solomon by Matters. It was the first public available version of the Key of Solomon. A problem with it is that it's a mix between 3 different manuscripts, and he doesn't explain where he has taken one thing from one manuscript and replaced it with another. So it's kind of a big mix, and no one really knows where he took everything from. So this version really isn't that good for people that are into the traditional grimoire magic work. Simply because we need to know where everything is taken from, and Matters do not explain that. He had his complete own ideas about that. Also, we know from other books that he has translated that his translation is to say the least unreliable. So I would avoid this version now that there are better versions out there. Okay, then next we come to the big thief among stealing magical books at that time or period. We had something called the Greater Key of Solomon, written by De Laurence, or at least stolen by De Laurence. What he did was that he actually stole Matter's translation and then put it out there as his own material. So not only is it a theft, it's also limited by the exact same things as the Matter's version is. So I wouldn't buy it in any case. Just skip that.